All right, Bobby Wagner, Gonzo from the Seattle Seahawks. It immediately sparked everybody's attention, myself included. But there's a lot that goes into this. I heard it for the first time today. Ed Bouchette said the Steelers should not draft or look for a veteran guy like Bobby Wagner. I mean, before that, it seemed like a no-brainer. What are your thoughts on the Steelers' possibilities of adding Wagner?
I think both sides of the coin are right. Wagner is going to be 32 years old this year. The previous contract he signed was a 3-year, $54 million deal with the Seahawks prior to entering free agency this year. Very unlikely he will not settle for low money. And when you're the Steelers, who already kind of have like Schobert and Bush, and like, look, I get it. Like, there are upgrades at that position that absolutely need to happen. But I also feel like the Steelers are, when push comes to shove, if they have to enter the year with Schobert and Bush, it is what it is. I mean, that's probably why, like you mentioned this a couple of times already. There's a reason why Schobert has not been cut. They want to keep him around just in case they are not able to upgrade the position. And so you have those two guys already there. And I thought it was a really interesting that the Seahawks released Bobby Wagner right now, because there have been plenty of instances throughout the NFL where a team has released a player like beginning of free agency or like mid free agency, or even like during the summer, like before that, like June 15th, like, cap
Steven Nelson, prime example.
Yep. Also, I do think they did him a little bit dirty with that, and I think that was intentional, but that's a whole nother topic of conversation.
But I agree.
My point with Wagner and the Seahawks releasing him right now, what that's going to allow him to do is drive up the price tag in the bidding war, because if you're an NFL team, there are 32 teams in the NFL who can use a Bobby Wagner on their football team. Bobby Wagner has long been one of the best middle linebackers in the game of football. Throughout the fact that he's 32 years old, he can still play at a very, very high level. And I think he's going to want to prove he can still do that on a new team. So if you're a general manager or if you're a head coach with a working brain, you are going to want Bobby on your football team.
Oh, gosh, yeah. But there's zero. Oh, okay.
No. But I think with the Steelers being comfortable where they are, I think with a few other needs that they kind of want to check off before they head into the NFL draft, I just, like, from a Steelers perspective, I don't see the need to go and get a guy like Bobby Wagner. He would be an instant upgrade over Bush and Schobert. And I think he would be very, very good for the defense. But just in the grand scheme of team building, especially with the price tag he's probably going to command with teams bidding for him, I just don't see it happening.
No, I don't necessarily see it happening. I think that he's a guy, just like you said, you're going to pay a lot for a guy that you're looking to be the next Joe Hayden on a team that is not built to need a Joe Hayden. When Joe Hayden joined the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're thinking, let's go win a Super Bowl. Right now, they're just thinking, well, man, we really need to find a quarterback. That would be super important. And then probably fix our offensive line. There's a lot of holes on defense too. And, we still don't have a general manager. So a lot going on here. They're not really thinking Bobby Wagner wins us a Super Bowl. There's a lot of teams that are going to be thinking that. And a lot of teams in a situation where they're going to offer a little bit more money because that's their MO. You trade a couple of first-round, second-round picks for guys like Matt Stafford, Tom Brady, Von Miller, because you believe that you're about to win a Super Bowl. The Pittsburgh Steelers do not believe that. So there's no point in going to get a guy like Bobby Wagner. That being said, if they decided to, there's zero problems here. Zero problem. If you went and signed Bobby Wagner and that was your only off-season signing, I'm not like super upset about that. What about this one?
I think – sorry, go ahead.
What about this one from Nick? Instead of Wagner, Jordan Hicks, Arizona.
Yeah, I saw that in the chat, and I actually did want to bring that up. I think he might command a similar price tag to Wagner, at least like similar just in terms of like ballpark. But I do have a profound respect for Jordan Hicks because whenever the Cardinals drafted Zaven Collins last year in the first round, the very next day, the Cardinals general manager, Steve Keim, sat down Jordan Hicks, who has started pretty much every game. He played in 97% of snaps for the Cardinals, pretty much played every game, sat him down and said, hey, man, David Collins is the guy at inside linebacker now. He has a starting job. Like, you are not going to be able to compete for the starting job. And you could have reacted however you wanted in that situation as a linebacker, especially as a linebacker as talented as Jordan Hicks. And I completely would have understood it. But Jordan Hicks put his head down. He worked through training camp, and he proved himself to be the best linebacker the Cardinals had. And he ended up starting every game of this past season. I have a tremendous respect for the player and the man that Jordan Hicks is. So I would love that for him to come and play in black and gold.
How old is Jordan Hicks? Is he younger than Wagner?
Jordan Hicks, it's a great question.
He just resigned before
he's going to be 31 years old whenever the season starts.
That's not super great, but it's not super bad either. The thing with both of these guys,
32.
Wagner is 32. Yeah, but he's coming off a career high in tackles.
Excuse me.
So that's tough to be like, oh, well, these guys are going down. Maybe that's the future. You know what I mean? Maybe Cam Hayward is 32 years old and the dude's playing the best football of his life. Maybe these guys are just advancing like quarterbacks are advancing. And now you're thinking 40 years old, maybe, you know, a guy like Wagner could play till 35 at a high level, which is bonkers to think about, but maybe it's a possibility.
Yeah.
Do you sign Wagner over anything else? Like, say, like the Steelers had one signing to make, and it's like Bobby Wagner, a quarterback, like Ryan Jensen.
I'd go Ryan Jensen.
But there's no thought of Wagner.
I just look at not even the positional value. I just look at what's going to help the Steelers become a better football team in 2022. And no, Bobby Wagner absolutely will improve the defense like tenfold. But if I leave middle linebacker alone, it's kind of whatever, especially with Brian Flores now coming to the defensive staff. I feel a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more hopeful, that he can, improve the linebacker play of guys like Devin Bush and Joe Schobert, him being the defensive specialist that he is. The Steelers' offensive line, though, I mean, that is a not great work in progress. And I feel like Jensen would just – we talked about this earlier this week, I believe, either that or last week, and how like a strong veteran center could do wonders for this offensive line.
Oh, gosh, yeah. It changes the whole landscape. I agree with you. I think Wagner's second. I think Wagner's third, if we're going to be honest. If we're going to be honest, my top three offseason signings, reasonably priced. Top four. He might be out of the fourth. Because my top three are Ryan Jensen, Eric Fisher, Mitchell Steelbitsky. That's what I'm feeling here.